So do you ever feel like you're living in a real world, real-time Groundhog Day? You wake up at the same time, you have the exact same routine, you put on the same shoes, you probably put on the same uniform, you put on the same clothes every single week, day in, day out. You get in your car and leave the house by the same time so that you can go sit next to the same person in the traffic that you were sitting in yesterday and the day before that and the day before that, to show up and see the same people that you saw yesterday or that you see every day, day in, day out. Everything just constantly seems like it's the same shit in a different day. It's always the same. And it leads us to not feeling fulfilled. It leads us to feeling stuck. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name is Chad. So every day when we feel like this, every day that we experience this Groundhog Day and this never-ending perpetual cycle of being stuck, then it's no wonder that it's easy to become complacent in the life that we're living. It's easy to forget the important little things in life because we've built such a system, we've built such a routine that's all we think about. We've made our days easier so that we don't forget about the things that we have to take to work with us. And we lay out these systems that we do day in, day out. You wake up, your feet hit the floor, you go jump in the shower, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you go make your coffee, you put your lunch together, you grab your keys, and you run out the door. And we do all of these things in order. All of this, the order in which we do these things is done for a reason that we probably don't really even realize. We do it for simplicity, and we do it out of routine because that becomes our habit. And once things become our habit, then we don't forget the things like our tools that are necessary to be able to effectively perform our job every single day. You know, you think about the plumber who forgets his tool bag. Think about the police officer that forgets his gun belt. Think about the climber who forgets his harness. You know, these tools they're necessary for our livelihood. They could potentially be necessary for our survival. And not only would it suck if we forgot them, because then we have to turn around and go back home and get them. But now we're looking at the potential of life and death if we were to just try to ignore it. So I think that we set up these systems and we set up these routines more of a survival or an instinctual thing, because we want our daily routines to be instinctual. We don't want to wake up in the morning and have to think about what it is that we have to do for the next day. You know, sometimes we might lay our clothes out the day before so that it makes the morning easier, because it's just one less thing that we have to think about. It's one less thing that we have to worry about. Because sometimes when we wake up early in the morning and we get our day started, our mind, it's just not working right. You know, sometimes it takes us a minute to get going. Maybe we have to get our coffee in us or our energy drink or something along those lines. We have to try to find ourselves in some sort of a moment of zen or a flow state in order for our mind to somewhat seemingly start working. I mean, how many times have you seen a meme that it says something along the lines of my brain isn't working until I get my first cup of coffee, or I'm not able to put up with your shit until after my first cup of coffee. But there's an issue with this. There's a huge issue with this, and that's complacency. When things become mundane, when things become just the repetitive things over and over and over, the repetitive nature of these systems that we establish, then it's easy for us to become complacent. We're easy to forget about major things that seem like they might be little things. And the thing about complacency is it's something that builds. It's something that will grow. You know, we get comfortable doing these or ignoring or doing smaller things that we probably shouldn't. But then eventually they turn into bigger things. Or maybe we've done something that we probably shouldn't. Maybe it's something that's dangerous. And because we got away with it once, then we do it again, even though we're potentially cheating death. And a perfect example of this is I had a coworker several years ago. He was a climber, and he needed to climb a cell tower. I don't remember what the job was that he was doing at that time, or on that day, but he he needed to climb that tower to get something taken care of, up at the top. He decided that because it was going to be quick, he didn't feel like dicking around with his harness. He was going to climb the ladder, he was going to climb the tower, and his day was going to be fine. He was going to run up there real quick, get it taken care of, and come back down. He got about 3/4 of the way up, and he fell. And when he fell, he died. He hit the ground, and that was all she wrote. There was no saving him. But that complacency built over time. In the past, when he was younger or in better shape, he had done it several times. He had done it many times. He climbed those towers. A long time ago, wearing a harness wasn't even a thing that you did. When this guy started climbing towers, who cared about harnesses? It wasn't an OSHA requirement. Nobody gave a shit. But he had cheated death so many times that it was just another day at the office. I'm not going to fall. I've never fallen before. I've never needed my harness. So I'll do it this one more time. And that's all it was one more time. So when he told himself that I'm just going to do it one more time, because the thought problem, I'm sure it crossed his mind. I'll just do this one more time and it'll be real quick. And that thought, I can't say for sure, and it was an absolute tragedy. But that thought, I would think that it crossed his mind. I would think that it did cross his mind. One more time, just one more time. How many times have you thought about something like that? How many times have you thought about, okay, I'll just do this one more time? And you've never thought about the fact that you're right. It is just one more time. And how many one more times are there until there isn't one? How many times is there just one more time until there's no more time? And when we go through this and we get complacent, this is a fairly extreme example of the complacency and how it can develop and how it can turn into something that's life-ending of a physical manner. But what about something that can turn into a life-ending scenario in a physical or a relationship or a spiritual, a mental manner, right? Like, think about the complacency that we have in our relationships, the complacency and the divide that happens in marriages. We become complacent and we take things for granted because we're so stuck in this routine. We're stuck in this Groundhog Day that we don't get that me time that we so desperately need. So what ends up happening is the people in our lives that we need to cherish, and those moments in our lives that we need to cherish, we take them for granted and we don't cherish them. We don't think about them and give them the opportunity or the thought that they deserve. Those small moments with our spouse or with our child or our brothers or our parents. Those moments of each and every day that we don't do anything. We get off of work and we're exhausted, and all we want to do is go sit on our ass and relax, break out our phones, get on social media, have somebody else entertain us and chase that dopamine hit. These moments, all of these little moments, they turn into one big moment. And those big moments, when they add up, they can destroy our lives. They can destroy our relationships. And we don't think about them in the time. Think about relationships that end, marriages that are destroyed because of the complacency. And when I say that, what I'm saying is we're not enjoying one another at every moment. We're not enjoying each other at every opportunity that we can. Instead, we're married. Our daily lives become mundane, and we just take the entire marriage and the relationship for granted. We get home, we get off of work, and then we sit on our ass and stare at our phones. We don't communicate with our spouse. We don't take time for our family. We become selfish in our routines. We don't get up and make dinner. Instead, we'll go out because your spouse and your spouse or whoever, you don't feel like cooking. So then we increase the financial burden because we're spending more money on food than if we were to just stay at home, enjoy each other's company, and help one another cook dinner. And then sit down at the table and have a conversation without any interruptions. We don't turn our phones off and stay present in that moment. We don't realize that right now is already in the past. We don't think about the fact that when we say something or do something, it can't be unsaid and it cannot be undone. These words that I'm speaking right now, they are already in the past. They're already done and they're gone. And I can't take those back. The negative things that I do and say once those are said and done, I cannot take that back. I cannot redo that situation or that scenario. But, enjoying that time with one another in our relationship. I'm speaking as a man that's been married for 24 years. And the things that I've learned over the course of this relationship is to not get stuck. Because I have been stuck. I've been in that situation back when I was in my 20s and my 30s. I should say my late 20s, my early 30s. Because you got to remember that my early 20s, cell phones were just coming around. Text messages weren't even a thing. Social media wasn't even incepted yet. I guess we had the online chat rooms, and eventually we did start to adopt the web forums. Those were nothing but a nightmare. But that's what I'm getting at is once we do these things, once we say these things, it's already in the past. It's already gone. This moment we can never get back. And this moment is precious. Each one of these moments is precious. And we need to try to get unstuck. We need to get unstuck. We need to escape that rat race and start focusing on the things that matter. Focus on the little things. Start making our daily routines and our daily habits to fit in those relationships and those people that matter the most. Those situations that should matter the most. I can't say if it's going to be a relationship that matters the most to you. I can't say these things. All I can do is try to point out examples. When you go to work, you work your ass off, you go through that routine, and then you get home. At the end of the day, and probably sit down on the couch, you crack open Facebook or some other social media app, and that's where your attention goes. Meanwhile, you haven't seen your spouse all day. Hell, sometimes you haven't even seen your spouse all week or all month. And then when the weekend comes around, both of you guys just want to sit around and do nothing. You just sit on your ass and maybe clean the house. Maybe go mow the lawn. But you don't do it together as a team. You don't put the value on that relationship that you once did before the honeymoon wore off. And unfortunately, sometimes we do this with our children as well. We have our children and we see them as more of a nuisance when they're little because all they want is your attention. All they want is for you to be present. They beg for you to be present. And all too often, too many people, they are not present for their child until their child is grown and out of the house. We work our lives away, ignoring the best years of our lives, the best years of our children's lives. And we take these small moments for granted. And that's why we're stuck. That's why we can't get out of this loop. It's because the after work, the once our workday is over and our day becomes ours once again, once we are able to own that day, we don't have that system in place. We don't have the system in place to where we get off of work and we go outside and we play ball with our son, or we sit down and have a tea party with our baby girl. We don't have that system in place to not forget about those little moments, those precious moments that we can never get back. We only get 18 summers with our child. That's it. You will get 18 summers with your child, as a child. Sometimes they might stick around a little bit longer, but to put that in perspective, you essentially only get 18 summers with that child. And that child only gets 18 summers with their parents. Because once they turn into adults, then life gets real for all of you. You become an empty nester. Your child has to go into the real world. The adulting actually gets to be real for your child. It's time to either go to college or get a job or join the military, something of that sort, something that is going to lead to responsibility. If we want to be good parents, if we want to be good spouses, if we want to be good people or leave a good person for the world and our legacy, then we need to focus on these small moments. These small moments are what's going to wake us up and pull us out of that stuck, pull us out of that rut that we're stuck in, that Groundhog Day that's nonstop, day in, day out, same thing over and over and over. And I think by the time you get to 40, that's when it really starts to set in. Because typically that's when your child is going to be coming of age to being an adult. And this is something that I'm experiencing right now. My little girl, she's graduating high school next week, and she's 18. My wife and I we're going to be empty nesters. Sometimes it feels like we're already empty nesters. And yes, I mean my baby, she's still going to be in my life. She's still going to be there. But the world and life is going to change. Everything about our life is about to change. And we have to be able to adapt to this change that's coming. It's the inevitable. You know, I have to learn how to live my life without having my daughter in her bedroom all the time, or out there eating dinner with us, or what, you know, whatever the situation is. I have to learn how to keep moving past without these precious moments that I hold near and dear to my heart. My wife and I, we're teaching each other how to go out and experience different things. Neither one of us has ever been rock climbing, so this past weekend we decided that we wanted to go rock climbing. It was an amazing time. It was extremely fun, and it's very good for you. And it's something constructive that you can do as a couple. It's something that you can do together and push one another to achieve something that you probably thought was impossible just minutes before. So it's these little things, it's these little ideas that you can come up with. Sit down and do a puzzle with your kids. Sit down and play a board game with your kids. Sit down and do the same thing with your spouse. Eat dinner together. Put your phones away, put them on the counter, and be present for one another. Enjoy the life that you have, the life that you've built, because you have built this life. You know, whether you want to admit it or not, you are the one that is stuck because of the life that you have built. You are the one that drove into the middle of the sand dune and decided to turn off your four-wheel drive and bury your rear tires. You and your decisions and the life that you've built are the reason why you feel stuck. I'm not saying it was intentional, but oftentimes it was because of complacency. So if you made it this far, do me a favor and go in the comments and write complacency. Just that one word, complacency. In order to be able to get out of these ruts, we have to stop being complacent. Because when we're complacent, then we take things for granted. We take our safety for granted. We take our financial futures for granted. We take our children for granted. We take our spouses for granted. We become complacent because everything has always been the same. Our relationship has always been there. Our children have always been there. Our money, whatever money we have, or our debt has always been there. We become complacent when we build that debt. We become complacent with our finances, and we go out and buy a car that we can't afford. We finance things on credit cards that we can't afford because we are complacent. Ultimately, it leads to us being stuck because we're complacent. So if we want to dig ourselves out, we know what to do. We just have to get a big ass shovel to do it. We have to get out our big shovel. We have to get out our traction boards. We have to jack the vehicle up, throw our traction boards underneath it, dig out the entire underside of our car, and we have to get unstuck. We know what to do. We just have to do it. And I'm certain that each and every one of you can find the way. You have it inside of you. You know the right thing to do. And I hope that you just do it. So anyway, that's all I got for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for those super thanks that you keep giving me, the super chats, the super comments. It truly means the world to me. I want to thank you guys for your generosity. I want to thank you guys for all of the support that every one of you guys has been giving me and my family and this channel. And I want to thank you guys for showing up. I hope you guys are showing up for yourselves. And I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Peace.